Welcome to the Dr. Fitness USA show. Why go to the gym anyway? Imagine a pain-free life. In today's episode, we'll talk about the shocking truth about yoga, Pilates, and personal training.
Hi, my name is Battista, and I am the co-founder of the International Institute of Body Design, the #1 best-selling author of Feminine Body Design Empowering Fitness for a Pain-Free Life, and the co-host of the Esoteric Principles of Bodybuilding.
My guest today is an extraordinary healer and teacher, Martha Densmore. She is a registered nurse, a licensed acupuncturist, and a recognized expert in East-West integrative medicine. She teaches and mentors nurses, healers, and holistic teachers in the application of her amazing patent-pending new healing invention called the WHISS kit that diagnoses, treats, and supports health and wellness.
One of the reasons why I'm so excited to have her on the show today is because she's also a student and partner with Dr. Fitness USA. And as you all know, we are always looking for opportunities to connect the dots between physical, mental, emotional, in all areas of our lives. And I know that Martha has extensive knowledge in all these topics, so I wanted to have her on the show. Martha, can you just tell us who you are, what your background is, in your words?
Well, one of the highlights of my life was meeting Stephen in the year 2000. And I'm a person who's been through many life experiences and transitions. For various reasons, I went to nursing school. That's the bottom line. From the very start, all through nursing school, I was also working in a very prestigious acupuncture practice in Beverly Hills, running the herb pharmacy, the insurance billing, everything that goes on with running an acupuncture clinic, while going through all the different rounds and experiences of a Western medicine tour of duty, you might say, which is very much like the military. After nursing school, I went formally to acupuncture school. So that's 8 years of college. And after graduating from acupuncture school, I believe that's the time I ran into meeting Stephen Hersey. And it took him a little while to convince me that I had not learned everything about helping my body, put it that way. So around the year 2000, I started to learn about and integrate idea. I was starting to practice as an acupuncturist, and at the same time while practicing acupuncture, I was also training in the gym. So then I was getting, again, two views. One of the patients coming in my clinics, my various practices, and then also not everybody, but some of a group of patients were coming in who were getting injured in the gym. So then having, again, that sort of dual perspective of, what was going on with people in terms of their ideas about their lifestyle, including, how they were working out and training with trainers and stuff like that. So that's when I started to sort of integrate ideas about ergonomics, understanding more about ergonomics. I've had a lot of great opportunities, many blessings to be exposed to a variety of settings in the health and wellness field over many, many years, too many to say now.
So I know that there's a lot of misconceptions about strength training, and more specifically for women. Women are still under the assumption that yoga, Pilates, aerobic, walking in the park, walking the dog, swimming, and all these things are really pretty much what they need to maximize their health. From your perspective as a nurse, as an acupuncturist, and with your background in health, what can you say about strength training in general for optimizing, more specifically, women's health? And then how does that compare to working with a personal trainer or versus working with a Dr. Fitness USA's protocol?
What you've described are wonderful things. If they actually are going to yoga and actually are swimming and participating in those activities, that's very nourishing. And, people can go a long way with yoga. So I don't want to discount any of that stuff.
Mhm.
However, what I learned from being able to weight train and through Stephen's protocols and so forth, where I was independently in the gym, so I could really take my time and feel through the process of my body, what was going on. And with the strength training, it's stronger medicine. It's like a stronger part of the ginseng plant. So it's going to help with stress in a more substantial way, because you're going to be kind of working on your hormones more. I mean, there's just things that you achieve with actually on the kidney level, building the bones, working on those muscle meridians and stuff. There's just a certain, especially with the ergonomics, there's a certain medicine that comes for when you're participating in a resistance training that's ergonomic, but also that's higher levels of weight. So
Yes.
I always say it's like a massage from the inside out. What you're doing is you're leveraging the weights. And so from the outside in the different positions that you're doing, which is to some degree akin to yogic positions at certain times, then when you're leveraging higher weights, you're actually able to traction the body. So you're getting a distraction or a traction of the spine and the body, and then the weights are like pressing on it. So you're able to hit points that, you only wish you could just lie there and have some massage therapists do it, but they can't. So that's the difference. I mean, at times I've gone into the gym because I have old injuries from ancient car accidents on Pacific Coast Highway and things like that. And I've gone into the gym independently when I need to, as I need to, like, wow, like somebody says, I really need a drink. I really need to go to the gym. And then I'm able to, it's not only with the exercises, but beyond the exercises, it's like just take part of that weight in the machine and just traction my shoulder out, and press on it through the weight bearing exercise and system, which is stronger than and more personalized, because you're there feeling it, and you're also there controlling it. So you can hit those spots again. Like for me, it's the scapula line. Mm-hmm. The inner shoe line on the bladder channel of my right scapula. So I'm able to, and it's numb. I mean, I have massage therapists going in there, pressing on it, and that's nice. And we relax and we chat and this and that. But when I'm in the gym, I'm actually able to really work it out and work out the stress and the pain. So that's the difference that I've found, and I'm very grateful for and blessed through my my knowledge of the strength training that I learned.
Was very beautifully expressed. I feel personally that really is what happens. For example, on a leg press, when you can push a considerable amount of weight, which is always a lot more than the person think they are capable of because of the ergonomics, I find that the spine's realigned, with a special ergonomic, and the way the spine, the curvature of the spine is protected. I know for me, as I spend hours on the computer, and sometimes, my back hurts, and then I just go to the gym and like you say, it just puts my body back into place. The backache is gone, and it's just really wonderful.
Yeah, it's kind of like ironing out the wrinkles,
I just did a show where we spoke about every motion creates an emotion. And I personally have found that when you can realign the body through those types of weights, where you can really impact the body internally, that many times it helps in releasing emotions that might be trapped in the body. For example, in the chest press, like if we can get somebody, a woman, men too, but women are more emotional, right? So,
I don't know, these days everything's pretty mixed up, but yeah,
you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's okay.
You got a good point there. So can you talk a little bit about the relationship between emotions and weight training, and how that might, or how you experience that, if you experience that?
When I go to the gym and work out with heavier load strength training or the ergonomic program, it settles the mind. It helps to settle the mind. And that's mostly what you need to go there for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't need to go work out to increase joy, so to speak. You know, it's good for discipline. Having discipline helps to regulate the emotions. So that's part of what we want to do, is to, you know, just be grounded emotionally, so that we can ride the waves and the tides of all the happenings in our life, and the information that's coming in, and the transmissions and all that stuff. And I just think the strength training is a way to kind of, you know, it's like taking a shower. It's a good way to go in and kind of clean it up and process it, and, you know, leave in the gym what needs to be left in the gym. You can actually do that.
So do you feel like there is a connection between the grounding of the body and the grounding of the emotions?
Yes, with good ergonomic sound training. I wouldn't say everybody that I've met who's, you know, I mean, believe me, I know a few people who are very strong.
Yes.
From construction work and things like that. You know, just like they're muscle guys, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always that way. But I think for women, yes. And, you know, one of the really interesting things that I've noticed from the strength training is like when you're doing Pilates and you're working with certain exercise coaches on a more, you know, kind of basic or introductory level, let's just say, you know, they're often telling you when to breathe. I remember for years doing this. Okay, breathe in here, breathe out there. When do we breathe? You know, Pilates, they'd be telling me, okay, breathe in, breathe out. I hear it at all different times. I had a massage. Okay, let's take some deep breaths here. Okay. But, you know, when you're pressing heavy loads, you don't have to wonder when to breathe. It's going to happen for you. You are just simply going to breathe deeply at the right time. And your heart and everything is going to be reset. It's a good reset. So it's a good reset system.
Yes.
So breath is very good for regulating emotions. You know, they do that in meditation, involves a lot of breathing, and yoga involves a lot of breathing. So you can compare that to when you're strength training with heavy weight loads. You know, you just go, wow, you know, my breath's just doing what it needs to do. Ooh, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, yeah. Well, when you're strength training independently in the gym, nobody else is going with you. So it's going to be you and God. You're going to get yourself in there with God's blessing and God's help, and God bless you. Hope you go. But no one else is going to go.
Right. You know, you have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. What do you think, or how does that make you feel when you get in the gym and you see the people or women that are lifting 5 pounds, and then they are on their cell phones and they just kind of like lying in the gym, really not getting anywhere, really? I mean, it's always better to be in the environment than not to, right?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I like to at least see, wow, at least they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if the sky falls down and the ceiling breaks in, they'll get some weight training, you know, holding it up or something. I don't know.
What would you say to them?
I mean, I don't know. I would say be ready for your acupuncture treatment in a few weeks, because you're going to get injured.
Good point. Good point. I like that. So talking about acupuncture, Stephen always says that one of the difference between personal training and an international body designer, which is who he is it's kind of like acupuncture. You hope that the acupuncturist knows which meridians to put the needle. So since you are an acupuncturist and you have done the Dr. Fitness USA's program, can you express that saying in your own words? What does that mean to you?
But a lot of people who go into the business of personal training, their education or their experience is generally quite limited. It's just not what it should be. And so, you know, the difference is when you're training with the body design formula, like with acupuncture, I mean, in terms of Stephen's experience, you just have to sit there and look at the photos of the people that he has trained over the years. You can see the architecture that he has brought out. I mean, some of those photos just speak 1,000 words, you know, that he does know the difference of how to of the muscle structure and how it's going to be affected, not only by training, but by training on various pieces of equipment in the gym. Older pieces of equipment, outdated pieces of equipment, strange lines of equipment. Maybe they came into being, in the 1990s they were there for 3 years, and some gym got a hold of this equipment for a good deal. And, maybe it's great, maybe it's not great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the huge difference. And you're not going to get that with a personal trainer. I mean, the trainers are doing lots of different things. I mean, their focus is often weight loss. It's trying to get people where you think they're going to get triggered to want to make change in their life, like offering them weight loss, offering them, a really good deal on many personal training sessions where they're just running around and doing all kinds of things where they probably would be better off just walking the dog and swimming somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
No, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference, and it's important with weight training because people get injured all the time
Mm-hmm.
with not good designed setups. And that includes in yoga. I mean, I've been in yoga, especially if you're a little bit deconditioned. I mean, if you're really conditioned, then you can kind of participate in sports and have an awareness what you're not going to do or when you're going to stop, and you don't care what anybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference, is to have that understanding in your body of where to draw the line. That's very protective, and it's very important because you can get injured with personal trainers where you're going to have this nagging micro injury. Nobody's going to be able to figure out how it happened.
Yes.
And it's going to just be some irritating little thing that's going to keep you not only out of the gym, but also in sort of a strange kind of pain that comes and goes. And it's a setback. And that's what happens to a lot of people with Pilates and stuff. They have minor setbacks. They don't know how it happened. They're not even sure it happened in Pilates or in the gym or in yoga. And because they don't have the education of the ergonomic understanding. So that's the major difference, is the education of the ergonomic understanding, which tells you how your body needs to be placed. And I mean, I use it all the time in my car. Where is strain being created? That's like a negative force. It's like noise when you're trying to listen to a symphony. And it's somewhere between just slightly annoying to outright dangerous, because it can set you back,
Yes.
It can set you way back.
Yeah. I think that.
And it also means you're not getting great results.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as people start to get into their 30s and stuff, or 40s, then and they're under stress, then it's a more important decision to make, and their investment of time too.
Yes, absolutely.
It becomes a time investment.
Yeah, because people have no time. So when you have that 1 hour to do something good for your body, you better make sure that you maximize that hour. That's for sure. Exactly. So one of the reasons why I was very excited to talk to you is because you have a lot of Eastern, Western knowledge. And one thing that the philosophy behind the Dr. Fitness USA's training has a lot to do with male-female energy and how that applies in the gym. So the way we explain it is basically a lot of the fitness industry right now is based on male energy, which is competing, more, no pain, no gain, and all this, while the female energy is more about being empowered, receiving. So we talk a lot about applying these principles in the gym, right? So that we can become balanced internally. So how do you understand the yin-yang, male-female energy as it applies to strength training?
I think that in the training with the yin energy, the idea is not to be so performance oriented. And so, this is a little bit with Stephen, why I kind of went off a little bit, into my own journey, because, I wasn't, the male performance is going to be, write down the calendar, write down the weights, let's calculate it, let's look at the numbers. I mean, that's all very left brain analytical. where the right brain is going to be, let's just relax. Let's just go through this. Let's see how it feels to us. Let's adjust it. Let's add a weight here. Once you have the ergonomic education, you have that flexibility to just say, okay, I'm going to add some more here and that kind of thing, which is not so performance oriented. So the idea again is just to train to be grounded in your feminine energy and your body.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you do develop that muscular presence, where you are toned and fit and your skeletal frame is poised and uplifted, that makes a difference for your ability to be feminine, even if you're a very masculine energy person, which I'm very alpha. I go way into the masculine all the time, but you can fake it a little better if you've got the musculature, right? You can wear a short skirt, you can put on some tights, and you can be calm, and you can quiet your mouth if you've been to your training session.
Yeah. You see, this is the thing about writing down the weights and all this, and I understand what you're saying about that being more of a analytical male type of activity. However, since I have taught this method now for quite some time, I can say that when the weight is in balance, that's when the miracle happens. And a lot of times we favor our strong spots, our strong parts. So a danger, if you don't mark it down, is to actually go to do the weights and then, I love doing my biceps, so now I'm going to do a lot of biceps, and because it feels good, because that's your stronger attribute. The value of keeping a very close look and keeping track of those weights is to make sure that everything stays into balance so the body grows proportionately as a whole and achieve that symmetry.
It feels performance oriented, but you're saying it's just clinical. You're making clinical judgments, or you're making, it's not, the way you want to present it is really you're making clinical judgment. It's not so much an art form then, you're just making clinical judgments. You've got to have it balanced, and if you're doing so much weight here, then you need to do so much weight there. Oh, how logical. And, it's based on experience. That's fine. Yes. It's just not as much fun that way. But I hear what you're saying. I hear everything. It's like what you said. Stress is, like they say, it's the number one killer, but it's also the number one killer of beauty, and it speeds up the aging process and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a harmonic system to be strength training ergonomically, because you're actually building the muscle, but you're also decreasing the inflammation, and you're busting the stress. You're just dissolving it. You're processing it and you're dissolving it. So it's like taking the trash out biochemically. I think that the strength training, it's like I'm saying, it throws your body. It's almost like a colonic in a way. It's going to throw your body into, almost jolt it into a sense of reconnecting the brain to what's actually going on in the body. The communication system's been broken to the actual sense of understanding in the cerebellum and the parts of the brain that deal with how much tension is actually in my body, how much stress is actually in my body. Well, if you start to maintain and run on that high level of stress ongoing for months and months and years, all that communication system deteriorates and breaks down. So when you go into the gym and you actually, throw yourself into this environment and are exposing your nervous system, your brain, and your spiritual awareness to a signal of truly where you are at. How, like, we can sit here and talk numbers all the time, but the brain knows what the strength is in the legs when it feels you do the leg press. So there's like a biofeedback communication system that goes on there. And so with each leg press that you do, your brain is getting new signals of how strong you are, how to get strong, what it feels like to feel good. and a lot of nourishment and being supported at the same time. So that's why it's important, because it's a strong medicine, and also is not being distracted, diluted, or sidetracked by a weaker medicine, or like with the yoga and stuff like that. Some people need the strong medicine, and it's a lot of people do. So it's just strong medicine, and maybe that's what you need to tell people, that it's not beyond Pilates. It's stronger than Pilates. Promoting strength, but maybe you need to promote it as strong medicine.
So we're coming to the end of our show. I want to thank Martha for being a great guest. And I also want to invite you to schedule a strategy session simply by visiting strategy.drfitnessusa.com to begin your transformation today. Also, don't forget to join us next Friday at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for another episode of the Dr. Fitness USA's show, Why Go to the Gym Anyway? Imagine a pain-free life. Bye for now. We'll see you next week. I'm Batista at drfitnessusa.com.